Other interesting political news, you have Ron DeSantis replacing his 2024 campaign manager. Finally, because their campaign has gone more downhill than Lizzo rolling down a hill if she were to trip and fall. I joke that obviously because she's proud of how she looks, and she's also currently under investigation for sexual harassment and fat shaming. Ironic, yes. Now, it looks like Ron DeSantis is replacing his campaign manager, Jira Peck, and replace that person with James Utenmeyer to be the chief of staff for his gubernatorial race. Now, this is coming from a DeSantis spokesperson by the name of Andrew Romeo. Quote, James Utenmeyer has been one of Governor DeSantis' top advisors for years, and he is needed where it matters most, working hand in hand with Grana Peck and the rest of the team to put the governor in the best possible position to win the primary and defeat Joe Biden, unquote. Now, he didn't laugh. I couldn't help but chuckle just because right now they are very far behind and they're in deep trouble. They go on to say that DeSantis has cut more than a third of his campaign staff last month, and he promised a leaner and insurgent operation. Now, in the first 6 weeks of his campaign, his payroll and his team on his campaign hit $1 million. Now, I always tell folks, as a governor, he had some great fiscal and political positions. He helped businesses out with some great policies. Many people relocated to Florida because of those policies. And in terms of his career as a governor, he had great success. When he first won election, the margin of victory was by less than 1%. That's razor-thin margins. When he ran for re-election, it was near 19%. The Republican Party could learn something from him and his team, or at least the old team. Because in terms of political victories, that's unprecedented levels of success. You usually do not see someone grow that much the gap. Many will actually attribute that to his policies during the lockdowns, or other states had lockdowns. But it seems like he was really able to garner a lot of support. Now, since launching his presidential bid, it's almost been political blunder after political blunder. His first of his many mistakes, I feel, he announced he was going to run for president on Twitter during a live stream where you couldn't see him. And every book on body language or communication since I started reading those things decades ago, they say a majority, like 90+% of communication is visual. It's why this show will always have a video component to it. We are also on all the podcast platforms, but that's why visual is so important. And he also sounded lackluster. He's going up against Biden. You have to sound at least more excited to be running for president than Biden does being president. That's one of the things you need to be campaigning on. I believe that's one of the reasons Trump is attracting more voters, because people like his energy. And DeSantis didn't have the energy for his kickoff. He also teased that he was going to be running for governor for weeks. So you basically already knew he was running for governor before he was there. So it was perhaps one of the worst. I look at the left and the right. I look at all the people who have announced their campaign, and that's probably one of the worst announcements I'd ever seen. Now, he's had many more blunders from then, and still far behind Trump in the polls. We're talking 30+ points. Now, one of the things that, in terms of morally, that I found abhorrent was his campaign using AI to deepfake Trump. Now, they actually had a picture, or a compilation of 6 pictures, where it says this is the real Trump, and it was him, Donald Trump, having a hug with Dr. Fauci. And, of course, that didn't happen. They were deepfakes generated by AI. Now, if DeSantis was prudent, and I would argue more ethical, he would come out immediately and said, hey, I do not agree with what that campaign did. That's not ethical. That's not right. We will not do that again. We're saying right now that photo is fake. I apologize. I take ownership of the situation because I'm the leader. He didn't. The only thing they managed to do was they had one of their minions say, oh yeah, well, Trump does it too. Now, in context, Trump, when he used deep fake AI, is either a picture of himself or DeSantis riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a rhinoceros. Something so preposterous no one was dumb enough to know or think it was real. So a lot of people saw Ron DeSantis' their faith in him drop because of that. Not only is he attacking Trump, which isn't a prudent political decision because Trump does have a big fan base, and I don't think it's going to help Ron get any more than what. So just politically speaking, it's asinine to do that. And also morally, they were manipulating people with that false ad. So those are the two major things from my perspective where I saw him just tank in terms of the support numbers went down anecdotally, people I speak to who formerly had a more positive opinion of him, their confidence went down in him. So he's making all these terrible political decisions, and hopefully the new leadership that he's hiring, or he's finagling around the campaign staff, hopefully they'll maybe have they'll be able to sound off more, or actually give him advice, or maybe just connect him more, show him what's happening with people's perception of him. But they continue just to have business blunder after business blunder. And I can't help but think, at this point, are they really going to make a comeback? And I would say, when it comes to DeSantis' campaign, right now, just the outlook is still not so good. But I would say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, again, for taking the time to tune in. Really want to appreciate you clicking that subscribe button. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the month. We greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to like as well as comment. Those also greatly appreciate. Really make the content a lot better, as we appreciate the critical feedback. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone to stay safe and fight the good fight.